deep in the heart of Central Texas, it's the Best of the Outdoors podcast, brought to you by Texas Fish and Game Magazine, the voice of the Texas outdoor nation. I'm your humble host, Dustin Warncke. Awesome to be back with you guys. The Outdoor Success Guy is back again with another podcast. So excited to have you guys join us. Really pumped up about this one because we're having Roy Crush back on, and what a guy, what an absolute all-American, all-Texan, go all out and make it happen hunting and fishing guy that you're ever going to find. I mean, he is just all around saltwater, freshwater, Texas hunting. He has Texas Boys Outdoors TV show. I just can't say enough good things about him. So before we bring him on, a little bit of housekeeping news to share with you. If you've not done so already, please subscribe to the podcast. It is free. You get a new one of these every 2 weeks. I love getting out there and turning on this microphone and sharing this with you guys, because this is just such a blessing to me to be able to deliver an outdoor message to you, and just love having have the chance to share this message with you. So thank you guys so much for watching, reading, and listening. Please again subscribe through your favorite podcast player. There's new podcasts every 2 weeks, like I said, and Podbean is where this thing is hosted, and so you can download the Podbean app and do that. That's probably the easiest way, and follow the show that way. Or you can obviously subscribe through your iTunes player or Stitcher or FM player, any of those. We're on all of those, Spotify, you name it. So anyway, they're all out there, and I really appreciate the time that you've taken to connect with me on social media, to tell me how much you like the show. All that fun stuff is just, that totally just makes my socks go up and down. This show for me, and this is kind of like a non-redneck word, it's very cathartic. It's very therapeutic for me to turn on this microphone and share this with you every 2 weeks, and I just really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking us out. So before we get into our interview, another thing I was going to mention is our newsletters. If you've not done so already, go over to fishgame.com, subscribe to the newsletter, and that does not cost you anything. You get 3 different newsletters a week, Tuesday through Thursday, and a lot of fun things going on. Sometimes a bonus newsletter on Friday even, which is really cool. So before we get into our interview, I was also going to mention I went dove hunting this past week and took Jackson one of the 2 days I went, Saturday and Sunday of Labor Day weekend. And you're hearing this in mid to late September, so whenever you're listening, I hope you guys had a very safe, eventful dove season if you've started already out there. If not, the thing is, where I hunt here in Central Texas, the birds really don't get to fly, really get into flying mode until second, third week of September or a little bit later. And I love dove hunting. It's more of a social sport for me. I'm not that good of a wing shot. I'm decent at sporting clays, but I'm not that good at hitting those little buggers when they move around the sky when you start shooting at them, and sky bust a little bit more than I like to say I do. But that's just kind of part of the deal when you're hunting those little guys. A couple of my friends from China and Pakistan that I talk to in the evenings when it's morning their time, I've shown them a couple of pictures of the doves that I've sent, that I've shot, and they're like, they're so small. I'm like, that's the sporting tradition of shooting doves, because they're so small, they're hard to hit, they fly erratically when you start shooting at them, and they're just a fantastic sporting tradition to get out in Texas outdoors to hunt here in September, before bow season starts in October, and before big game rifle season for deer starts in November. So just loving having time out in the Texas outdoors, taking the time to go out there and just enjoy it. Just enjoy the outdoors, enjoy everything that God has given us in nature, everything our state has given us for things to conserve, shooting white wings and mourning doves and migratory birds like that. And guys, I'm going to hit it this hard this year for hunting, for bird hunting especially. I'm going to hit it hard for ducks this year. I've been threatening to do that for the last 3 years. I'm going to actually get out there and get it done this year. I'm really excited about that. I've got a couple of people I plan to go with, Dave Cox, Palmetto Guide Service, and then there's another podcast listener group that listens to this show that's kind of two guys on a podcast, awesome podcast that I listen to quite a bit, and they've invited me to come hunting with them and do some public land hunting. So I got my public land permit, I got my super combo, and I got my duck stamps. So I'm really excited about that. So anyway, thank you guys again so much for tuning in. It means the world to me that you listen. Thanks for telling a friend. Thanks for spreading the good word about the Texas Outdoor Nation. If you would like to learn more about me, I've got a website that has all the articles and stuff that I write, all the blogs that I write, all the podcasts that I do, and all the videos that I do as well on the video channel on YouTube. That's dustinsprojects.com, all one word, dustinsprojects.com. You can check out more of that. So let's get into the show, guys. Roy Crush, Texas Boys Outdoors. Here we go. Joining me on the phone, Mr. Roy Crush, Texas Boys Outdoors TV show. How you doing, Roy?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Tell us a little bit about what's going on with your show and what's been going on with you lately, because we haven't talked since April, I think, on the phone with the podcast where we did that Frio Ice Chest podcast or the Frio Products podcast. They have a bunch more than just Ice Chest, but how are you doing these days?
Oh, man, can't complain. We just finished up our fourth season on Pursuit Channel. I think a couple weeks ago we had the last episode. It was on Sunday mornings. And I think when I talked to you in April, it was right around the first episode. So
yes,
good timing on that. And we, right there at the end, we had a couple things we canceled. We had to really work for some footage. So it's been kind of almost nice to have a couple weeks to get to relax some and catch up with the family a little bit. And still going to hunt and fish and excited, like we talked about earlier, about dove hunting. So get back in the woods and on the water here pretty quick, but it has been nice to get a little rest.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that real quick as we talked about before I started recording. I went out this weekend a couple of times. Saturday afternoon, I worked the Oatmeal Festival in Bertram for DB Hunting Ranch and DB Wild Game Processing and Taxidermy, which are two companies I work for and near me here in Central Texas in the Hill Country. And we went out to my friend's High Fence Ranch after we went out to just to go dove hunting after the festival was over with. And man, one thing, I'm getting ready to write a dove hunting article. One of the things that for sure worked for us both days we went out there for when we saw birds was those Mojo style decoys. I don't know if you've ever used those before, the ones that had the wings that turn and flap.
I've heard about that. That's pretty
we put so basically I'm hunting around a tank and we put them down. I just have one decoy, so I just put it down facing the tank, and those birds would land on almost right on top of that decoy. They just land right there, and I mean, as they're coming in, we've got a perfect shot opportunity. And as they pull out, same deal. But, they're flying low enough to hit, basically, and make a good shot.
Yeah, even I would kill one on that.
Exactly. So
I'd have a chance.
I'm not much of a wing shot. I'll be the first person to admit that, too. But, I mean, I do enjoy it. It's a social sport for me, and I think it is for a lot of our listeners, too.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing I've got to say about you, Roy, and I haven't told you this off air yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and say this now while we're recording. You're one of my favorite guests because I can give you a topic and you can talk on it for 15 minutes and I don't have to ask any other questions. You got to be one of the best people I've ever had on the show, man, because I don't have I don't have to pull anything out of you. I don't have to do anything like that. I mean, you're just full of knowledge. I mean, I just love talking to you.
Man, I don't mind talking, and I love hunting. I love fishing. I've got something going on, so
no, that's cool. That's really cool.
It's a good time of year too. You got even everything. Football's cranking up. Hunting season's cranking up. The fishing actually gets quite a little bit less pressure on the bays and lakes.
Yes.
So fishing can be even better in the fall. So
right,
a good time to be an outdoorsman in Texas. That's for sure.
No, it is. And you're preparing for a fishing tournament for redfish on the Texas Gulf Coast, correct?
Yes, sir. That's this
tell
weekend.
Tell me something about that.
Me and a buddy of mine, Captain Eric Renteria, a good friend of mine. I fish with him quite a bit. He helps me out with Texas Boys quite a bit too. Just a great guy, one of the best fishermen I've ever fished with. The guy can just flat out catch him. Knows, from Sabine to East Matty, West Matty, the guy's just, a true stud. Been around for a long time. And we're going to be out there. It's the Elite Redfish Series event in Kemah, Texas. I think at the Boardwalk. And we're going to be pre-fishing the next couple of days. And then it's Saturday and Sunday. You weigh in your 3 biggest redfish each day. And we got 6 big ones at the end of the day Sunday. You can get it done. So it's, it pays, but I think they're $100,000, for the prize money. So it's a good deal. You don't get a lot of tournaments like that here in the Gulf Coast. So we can get out here and try to get it done.
No, that's good. I mean, that's the one thing I was going to say is you were just talking about this on the show, earlier before we started recording. Bass tournaments are still the key for money-making tournaments. I don't talk a lot about that on the show, but I mean, basically, it's not been a big deal for redfish or any kind of other trophy fish in saltwater, except for this time. I mean, so what's different about this, if you don't mind me asking?
I've never fished an Elite Series event. They've had a different tournament. I fished the Rudy's, and there's several different ones that are kind of competitive with this one, but this one, I think they fish from Florida, Louisiana, and they have a couple of events in Texas, and it's grown quite a bit. They just do a good job with, whether it's sponsors and others that are going into it, they seem to be able to pay well, and they're starting to attract some of the best guys. And I know a bunch of guys are already down there pre-fishing this week that are friends of mine, and it's It really is. You put $100,000 on the line, and you bring out the best of the best from Corpus. The guys coming from Louisiana, so it'll be a cool deal. You win this one, and you did something in the saltwater bait fishing, world. So it's a pretty cool deal. But like you said, it doesn't compare to bass fishing. Bass is still king. Those guys you can win the Bassmaster Classic, and you're set for life if you're financially responsible. So
right.
It's something like that. But it's definitely a cool deal and gives us a chance to do some good money.
Especially your Jordan Lee and win the Classic back to back in 2 years in a row.
What a stud, man!
Well, that dude.
Too, I actually live near Lake Conroe.
The
first one he won, I think he came out of nowhere. What was he in 10th place? I think.
And he just slammed it.
A monster bag. Just that's I don't bass fish a whole lot, but my son's just ate up with it. He really likes it, so I've kind of kept up a little bit. Those guys, it's pretty exciting stuff too.
Well, the thing I've always liked about you too, Roy, is that you're not afraid to tackle, whatever topic I throw out at you. It's just like hunting, go, or fishing, go, and you just boom, you're there. So you're an all-out outdoorsman for fresh and salt and hunting, and that's awesome. That's what we like to see in the magazine too. So that's awesome, fantastic. Man. And Chester says hi, and Ardia says hi. I wanted to make sure I told you that too.
Oh, tell them hello, man. Good people over there.
Yeah, they're good folks that we have here at the magazine. So. And so just give us a rundown. What I wanted to kind of do in this show is I also will not forget to mention you're sponsored by Frio. I've been a Frio guy for a long time. The Frio Cooler 65 hard side went with me all weekend this past weekend for dove season, and the Frio 24/7 stainless steel tumbler I'm holding right now in my hands with a redfish leather wrap on it. So
cool.
I'm just telling you.
That'll bring you some good luck. I need redfish as the key for the next few days. So anything.
I was thinking about just looking
good luck, throw up my way.
I was just looking at this redfish tail, and I said, Roy's probably thinking about something like this.
I hope I'm looking at redfish tails, too.
That's right. Big ones. Bull redfish tails. But
I need 27 inches and fat.
There are a lot of cooler brands on the market. Why do you choose Frio?
They just not just good products, but they've been just great to work with. Jeff and Jeremy over there, just top-notch people.
Yep.
They really take a lot of pride in being a Texas-based company, so it goes along well with the things that we do. They've been supportive of we do quite a bit with Shriners Children's Hospital,
right?
Just from youth group, churches, just all kinds of stuff with veterans. They've been really supportive from up and down the deal. Just anytime we need help or when I do fundraiser, they're always there. Just I think the combination of good products and good people, it's kind of a win-win deal.
Yeah, and a Texas-based company too. That's kind of nice. I mean, they're more about the outdoor lifestyle, which is something I always try to tout on this podcast because I don't really live the lifestyle as much as I should, as far as getting out there and enjoying it more than I just go hardcore and hunting and fishing and killing and catching. But they're more about the sit back and relax and enjoy the field to the table process. And I think that's vitally important too, and that's something you're about too, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you have to. If you want to sell products, you can't just market to one. You need to have the stuff that the mom can have, the kids enjoy. Stuff that the pro outdoorsman has. There's a line of stuff different. They just do a good job of meeting everybody's needs, whether you're average Joe, weekend warrior, or one of the best in the business. They got products you can use in any situation. So It's a cool deal.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. So we're going to talk this show about prepping for hunting season. What are the kind of things? I had even thought about getting my hunting backpack out and going through all the gear that I carry and stuff like that. And I'll probably do a show like that in the future. But, I mean, what are the kind of things you do to prep for hunting season for, for big game or for dove or for duck or for whatever you're going after?
With me, a lot of my personal stuff is I'm not a big dove and duck hunter. I do enjoy it, and I got friends that are gung-ho and some of the best in the business, and I'll do especially we're going to film I think a couple different duck and teal hunts coming up, and so
cool.
For me that's more just like you said about the cotton hanging out with my buddies and having a good time. I don't get all I don't put all emphasis on getting ready for the season on that. That's more just what we're doing for Texas boys. However, I do love me some hog and deer hunting, and I've loved it since I was a kid, and I have a couple places close to home that I'm starting to get fixed up, and we'll make sure liner sands are secure, start making sure we have anytime one thing with me is I think anytime you can, it's always better to not use a feeder unless you're traveling a long ways in your range, so you have to use feeders. But anytime I hunt where it's pressured areas or areas where there's a lot of people hunting, I think anytime you can do hand core and stuff like that, that's always the big thing with me. I'll see a lot of bucks that people wouldn't even know because they're smart enough to stay away from those feeders, especially October through January. And so I'll get a lot of areas I can and try to just do the best I can of staying away, but make sure you got a food source and getting things ready for hunting. Hogs, deer, I hunt it all, so a lot of different things you got to do. So
No,
getting ready for sure.
that's good. I mean, that's a good point because the biggest deer that I've got hanging on my wall behind me here, Mr. Big, he's about 120. He's not huge, but I mean, he's big in my eyes. He's my best archery buck. I shot him when I was by a feeder, but it was hand corn that I had thrown after all the other deer had left. They had come and cleaned up the feeder. I put some more hand corn out basically just to kind of see what else would come in. Sat down and there he was. I mean, that was the biggest thrill of my life, getting to shoot an arrow through him, because it was just one of those things where it's been a deer that I've been after the whole season, and it's a culmination of that. And where I hunt, I don't always have that possibility, but that year I did in 2014, and I still get jitters thinking about that moment, when I pulled the trigger. So
he came to the corn you put out separate, it's kind of a cool deal. Yeah, it is, man. You wouldn't believe how many good deer I've shot in areas that people would even think there's good bucks there. I grew up hunting in East Texas and Hardin County and, even Montgomery County some, and it's just a lot of small ranges. You got people hunting all around you sometimes, and it's just, you start learning little things. It takes a long time to figure stuff out, but you learn those little tricks those bucks will do. And I've had people tell me they didn't see them, they didn't know buck was there for 2 years, and I've watched, just little stuff. And I've shot a lot of good bucks where a feeder's about 50 yards away, and I have a spot on hand corn on the other side, another little shooting lane or something on hand corn, and they'll come. You would never know because there's not one picture of the feeder, but they'll hit that hand corn every couple days. Sometimes they'll get in a routine and whack the heck out of it. You never know. So
they're deers you'll never see on camera. Not deers. They're deer you'll never see on camera. Sometimes that come in that are elusive. That definitely have that kind of sneaky ninja effect, as one of my friends says.
Oh yeah, and the old bucks are Jedis, man.
The Jedis, exactly. That's a great way to put it. Not to copyright.
In East Texas especially, it's everywhere, but in East Texas where you get a lot of low fence, high pressure areas, the bucks, by the time they're 5 or 6 years old, and he's no dummy. He's pretty sharp, so you got to try to change things up to fool him a little bit.
Let me ask you this: what other attractants or additives or scent killer or whatever do you use? I know you're more of a gun hunter than a bow hunter, right, Roy? Or do you do both?
I do both.
Okay.
I bow hunted for quite a while, so my best bucks, memory wise, are bow hunting.
Sure.
But I'm not scared to whack them with a rifle too. So.
Do you use?
I do. We actually just, and it's kind of funny because I've used, Tinks for a long time. Another Tink 69 been around forever, and I've actually had all that, been successful with some of that stuff. But Hunter Specialties makes that buck bomb, and I think they have a Salin Heats like hog bomb or something like that too. They have, and I've had a lot of success with both of those. We started working with them the last year or so. And those are both. I've had bucks even in pressure areas, like I said, that can be difficult hunting sometimes. I've had deer, especially young bucks, a lot of times they'll walk right up to it. That's a good one that works real well. And Tink still works. I've had, you got to use all the sewers or lures and scents. You got to make sure you use them at the right time, or they could backfire. So
yeah, that's true.
As long as you use it correctly when if the deer are chasing stuff like that, then a lot of them can work really well.
So the best idea is to obviously use your doe and heat kind of stuff during the rut. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I've had it works deer and hogs. I've had when I was a young hunter, especially, and I thought, I've had deer come to corn like clockwork, but, day before hunting season, the day before I'm going out there, even the morning of, I'll do something dumb and go out there and put something I've never put out there before. Even if the next day, or, they get used to it pretty quick. If a deer, especially in pressured areas, if they have a new scent or something they're not used to, they're going to be cautious, even if it's for a day or so, but they're going to back off some. And so sometimes if you got deer coming to corn, you don't even use any scents, but if you're in an area where, you're trying to get a buck to come in, or you got one there and they're chasing a little bit, then they can be very successful. It's just, like I said, all about using them at the right time.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's important too. Two of the products that I'm using this year that I've got in my garage right now are Dig a Hole, which is from Vapor Trail Scents. Not a lot of people have heard of that. I've had Rex Holmes as the owner of that company on this show back last December, so you can go back and listen to those two podcasts we did back to back with him. And he basically talks a lot about deer biology and how the reproductive system of the doe works and that kind of stuff, and why they have so many scent receptacles and that kind of stuff. It's a really good show. But basically, Dig a Hole is a really concentrated mineral formula that you can pour, and they literally will dig a hole to get all of it out. That's why it's called Dig a Hole. And they have a persimmons or sweet corn. I ordered the sweet corn version for my dad and myself. My dad hunts in Oklahoma on his own land, and I'm going to go up and hunt with him this year, I think in November. And then I also use, obviously, Big and J, which is really a big thing here in Texas. Big and J, makes kind of a mineral / protein mix, either a block or you can buy 20-pound sacks of it. I know you've probably used that before, haven't you, Roy?
I have. I don't use it all the time, but I got buddies that swear by that stuff, and it's supposed to be another product that works well.
And then pigs dig it.
There's especially close to home. I got a couple little farms, ranches, I guess you'd call them, that are kind of by the house. I have permission to hunt from an older farmer that owns some land, and I've learned here that sometimes they like just regular old corn.
Yeah.
Anything fancy, but I've also been on areas where some of the attractants they come in like clockwork. So it's
Sure.
kind of, it's all about, relative, I guess, where you're hunting, how much pressure it gets. But I've
Yeah.
heard that stuff, has been quite a big successful product for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, and I always plug my friends Jeremy and Trevor over at the Cast Blast Grill Chill podcast. They mainly hunt nothing but public land, and they've got a lot of tricks that you can listen to their podcast on and doing. Because you talk about pressured land, I mean, especially for hogs. I mean, hogs are pretty smart. They'll turn nocturnal if they're pressured too much, won't they? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yep. You start shooting at them, you can pick a few off and they'll go nocturnal. They'll definitely start circling around. They'll be real cautious before they come into a spot, and you got to change things up sometimes. But it doesn't matter where you are. If you start whacking a few of them, they definitely typically go nocturnal pretty quick.
That's especially true for the bigger boars, is it not?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they're the ones who they get used to there, and they you start going out there more, especially if they hadn't had a lot of pressure before. They'll start. I've had boars in East Texas, like I said, near Beaumont and Hardin County, that would. I've been for the same bull for a while, but he'd circle all, because they're ladder stand or depending on what the wind's doing, he'd circle all the way around.
Downwind.
Yeah. 2 times I had to do that. He finally get to where he winded me, and he'd never ever come in and give me. I was bow hunting, so I had to get pretty close, but he'd never give me a shot. Those old boars are just as smart as they do. They're pretty sharp.
There's a new scent,
especially like you said on the public land or just regular local.
Sure.
They get shot at a little bit. They wise up.
Yeah, or they'll go nocturnal. I've seen it happen on high fence ranches too, where only the little ones will come out during the feeding times, the morning and the evenings, and then the big boys, you got a night hunt for them with a flashlight or with the infrared or light and night vision or whatever, and that's fine too. I mean, that's a challenge of getting those big ones, but I just I'm sure you enjoy the meat as much as I do when it comes to deer or pigs. They're just fantastic table fare.
Oh yeah, I do. I enjoy eating. I'll do it exotics, whitetail. We'll get a hog sometimes. Made into a bunch of cheese sausage, jalapeno links, and stuff. It's all good stuff. It's hard to go wrong with venison for sure.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. And one of the other products I'm using for hogs this year is a sow and heat attractant from Vapor Trail Scents called Hogzilla. And basically, it's built to be kind of a dominant boar attracting scent. It's a sow and heat. Scent, and it's they make a scent for just about anything from predators all the way up to deer and so on and so forth. That for deer, they make one called My Sheila, which I'm going to try. And I've used Tink 69 and stuff for years and years and years. I'm just going to try this out this year during the rut and see if I can't get anything to move, because it's supposed to be. I've seen it work on camera. They've got a Texas Horn Stars is one of their shows that they have, and they have some other Texas-based shows and shows outside of Texas that they've shown that My Sheila to work on decoys. Just ridiculous. The deer was like humping the decoy, he was so I mean, I've never seen anything quite like that. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good testimonial. But they're all good. That's the thing about hunting season and about all the different products that are out there from Hunter Specialty or from Big and J or Vapor Trail Scents or any of those. They're all good. It's just finding what works for you.
Oh yeah, yep, you're exactly right. I mean, like I said, I've had a lot of success with those things, especially in areas where I'm not seeing a lot of animals. I've been trying to put corn out, this and that. You're just not seeing much. And sometimes little stuff like that can make a difference. During the rut, I've had areas where you're not seeing any good bucks on camera all summer, and then they start chasing around, and you put some of that stuff out during the rut, and you get a buck you've never seen strolls up. So, now with the technology nowadays, I'm kind of old school sometimes, and I do the same things I've done for a long time. But just like anything else with technology, they're getting some of the new products that are coming out are a little bit better. Some of the scents are a little bit better, and it's just everything's always evolving. So same with that industry. I mean, there's stuff coming out now that just works really well.
Well, and that's the thing, Roy, that I kind of, to take a step back for a minute, looking at this from a bird's eye view, this is better than our grandparents certainly ever had it. It's better than our parents ever had it. It's better than the people and Native Americans back then ever had it, Yeah. I mean, we take that for granted sometimes, where we go, oh, darn, I didn't kill that 130 this year. And it's just like, man, the future is already here with what is going on in technology and the innovations in our industry. And I talk about this a lot, and I know my listeners probably get bored about this, but we're in the golden age, baby. We're in the golden age. And I mean, this is the best time to be alive and be a hunter right now. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so. I mean, you got all kinds of, there's people, well, a lot of money's always involved. It's like anything else, but that you got access to, you can go anywhere and shoot a giant buck. I mean, there's still public land. You can go hunt if you want the sportsman side of it. There's all kinds of different stuff. And there's just, I think we've done a good job, but there's always need room for improvement. But I think Texas Parks and Wildlife, they've done a good job regulating things. So even fishing, it's always, things always changing. But even with fishing, with all the limits and regulations now, there's so many people hunting fishing. They got to do certain things, and I think they've done a good job of that, of trying to keep it where it's a good fishery and good hunting areas for a long time.
Well, and the thing is, people, look, well, Texas public land compared to the rest of the western United States, compared to the eastern United States and so on and so forth. But, we have the most liberal, next to Louisiana, of course. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Roy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we have got to have one of the most, our tags are over the counter. We don't have to go into a draw system for exotics. We don't have to go into a draw system if you want to shoot an elk or a bison or any of that. You don't have to go into a draw system to shoot a red stag or an oryx or any of that. It's all through, unless you're going on private land that Texas Parks and Wildlife is sponsoring a hunt on. It's you find you a ranch you like, you find you a guide you like, and you go hunting. And yes, it costs money, and yes, it's not going to be cost prohibitive for some people. But I'm just saying it's more accessible, I think, than it's ever been in a lot of ways.
Yep, that's a good point too. I mean, on that side of things, especially Texas is one of the states. It's a lot easier just for the average guy to be able to afford, to go out and catch a fish, or go out and do a little hunting. I mean, it made it where, like, if licenses are cheap, you can go in Walmart or Academy and grab you one. I mean, it's definitely a lot of things that make it easier to get into hunting than it could have been, even if you just live somewhere else right now. I mean, we've bought tags for guests. We've taken out with Texas boys on different hunts.
Sure.
It's several $100s in some of those states to get a tag, and then half the time you got to draw one. So it's definitely a good time to be a hunter in Texas, a fisherman in Texas for sure.
Well, yeah, and I mean, outside of Texas too, I'm just saying that the comparison to us and other states, especially in the West, all of our tags are over the counter. We can feed in a lot of counties. I mean, it's just, in public land, I just bought my super combo on Saturday before I went dove hunting. It was $68, pretty cheap for five deer tags and some 4 turkey tags or whatever it is. And or 2 turkey tags or whatever it is. I don't want to quote them wrong, but and then redfish, I got the super combo thing, $68. Okay, and then I got my annual public land hunting permit, which was $48. Okay. And I'm set. And then my duck stamp too. That was a federal. I think it's $28, right? And so
that's not too bad.
But I mean,
definitely compared to
you're set. I mean, you're good to go anywhere for hogs, especially. And here's the funny thing that I get asked this a lot. I was at the Oatmeal Festival this weekend. I had one hunter ask, "How much are you going to pay me to come to your ranch to shoot hogs?" You ever get that, Roy?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm always down.
And I'm just like, well, here's the thing about private land access in Texas. No hunter, and this is talked about a lot on the Texas Hog Hunters Association forum. No hunter is going to, or not forum group, Facebook group. No hunter is going, or no landowner is going to allow you to just come on his land and just run wild and do whatever you want and shoot all of his pigs for free. What I don't like are some of these ranches, and I've talked about this with some other guests before, that say they're overrunning hogs and then they charge you by the pound to clean the dang things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. We've actually experienced a couple of years ago with that, and I'm not a big fan of that either.
If you are that overrun with hogs, you don't need to charge an arm and a leg to get out of there alive. To get your and I'll tell folks, if you want to find out what ranch I'm talking about, Google hog hunting in Texas and you'll find their ads. And they'll be one of the first Google ads that you find on the sidebar or on the top. And the thing is, I don't think it's fair that they charge by the pound and then make it sound like it's going to be a cheap hunt. Because $2 a pound on a 300-pound hog, think about that.
Yeah, you can go shoot a big buck for that.
It just doesn't seem right to me that people are doing that. So I think it's buyer beware. And obviously the ranches that I talk to on this show and I talk about and I work for and that kind of stuff are going to be reputable. The ranches that, Roy talks about, he's used for the TV show and stuff. I mean, there are a lot of great opportunities out there, but just do your homework and do your research and check out the forums, check out the Facebook groups, ask questions, ask good questions. I talk about that on my Finding an Outfitter or Guide or a Hunting Ranch show that I've done a while back. It's not about the questions you ask, it's about the good questions you ask, and plenty of questions too, because, they're not going to get tired of answering them until they get the sale. So
that's true. And one thing with social media, like you mentioned, I mean, it's good and bad sometimes, but one, you can always find, you can research and see if other people hunted there. I mean, there's always ways to be a little educated on the place before you go out there and just hunt.
Well, social media is a double-edged sword. I mean, it's just
Yes,
one of
it
those.
is.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's great for like on the marketing side, which I do for DV Hunting Ranch. It's great for me to be able to post in 4 different groups within 5 minutes that I've got these specials going on here, and that's one thing we invented back in the day was the Ram Hog combo. I think we're the only one that came up with that first, and everybody started following. But I mean, this is like 12 years ago when I started doing this, and we started doing combo packages and stuff like that. And when we started running monthly specials, and every month we have a different special and put it out there. But then you get these guys that just want to take your money and make you smile and all this other stuff. And there's a lot of unsavory characters in any industry, but that's one you've got to be aware of in hunting because there's some good ones and there's some not so good ones.
Oh yeah. I've heard horror stories over the years here and there. Just always want to do, like you said, do your homework before you go out there with guns and money's involved. Just know where you're going. Who's running the place. And
I never equated it to guns.
Send them a check.
Guns and money involved. Yeah, I didn't think about that. When there's guns and money involved, you got to do your homework. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that's good. What do you have any ranches where you live or where you've traveled and stuff that you recommend at all that we can plug?
Yeah, sure. We, my personal hunting stuff. I have a small place by the house. We've been blessed with Texas boys. We've done quite a bit with Big Easy Ranch over in Columbus, Texas.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
Landon over there, the ranch manager, and Billy Brown, the owner, is just a good friend of ours. Just top notch people in every aspect. Just they're always supportive of our. We've taken veterans out there that have gone through quite a bit. This year we got a Shriners patient from Shriners Hospital in Galveston. It's a young lady that's burned really bad, but just has an awesome attitude and actually wants to bow hunt. So when you get her out there, that'll be a really cool deal to film. And
sure.
It's Big Easy Ranch in Columbus. They've been awesome. We're going on South Texas this year and I can't remember I can't remember the guy's the ranch name. It's a buddy of ours, Brett Merritt, hooked it up. But we got that's one thing we're going to try to change up this year is go South Texas. We're going to do some stuff in the hill country. One of our board members has a ranch in outside of Mountain Home, Texas, near Rock Springs.
Yep.
We're going to take some kids out there and do some stuff. So we got a really cool lineup this fall. I still always love my low fence, the hunting by the house, but I think I don't take for granted that we're very blessed to get to go to some of the most beautiful ranches you'll ever see with Texas boys. So it's kind of a win-win deal on that one. It's just been a really cool deal.
No, that's cool. I got my start in media with the TV show Mac and Prowler out of Texarkana, Texas, and I've had them on the show before and stuff. And it's a predator hunting TV show. They're out killing hogs and armadillos and all kinds of other stuff these days. But that's how I got my start with all this outdoor media stuff was with them. And the one thing that I found is you have a lot of opportunities with the show, but you also have a lot of work in front of you, and you know what I'm talking about because you're with the TV show. It's been there for 4 seasons. So yeah, it's a lot going on.
With any good, whether it's a good company or good, whatever your kind of business you're dealing with, I got just an awesome group of guys to help me out. Just we're all, my team, I think is just a great group of guys. From my board members to my wife Jean helps out quite a bit. Just a fun group. We wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for all of them. So
sure,
it's work, I guess you'd say, them doing that. But man, it's fun when you're doing it all with your buddies like that. So it's just been hopefully God keeps hooking us up and keep getting doing good things and keep on growing.
Well, and the one thing I love about y'all's organization and your show is that you guys are taking care of people, burn patient victims, soldiers and stuff you and I have talked about on the last podcast, that you guys are giving back in the outdoors. And I think that is so important, to just the outdoor lifestyle, is that we don't just hunt and fish for ourselves, we hunt and fish for others too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we really enjoy them. We do quite a bit, like you said, with law enforcement, veterans, quite a bit with veterans. We work with Impact Hero, a buddy Mike Nash over there. They're a great organization we work with that we kind of got a lot of veterans. They actually do things like financial education and all kinds of stuff for veterans. And so we'll work with them as far as getting different guys to take out. And just been a really cool deal. And definitely would give, we wouldn't be able to hunt and fish without those guys, their jobs. Sure. It's definitely, it is, a great way to feel like we're giving back quite a bit, and just blessed to be in a situation where we can do that.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing that we take for granted sometimes is we have an opportunity to go out and kill or catch something or just enjoy the outdoors or whatever, go on a hike, go on a camping trip or whatever, and it's just that's why I video most of my hunts and fishing experiences and stuff on GoPro or on my little bitty HD camera or whatever. It's just to share the experience with the viewer at home, and that's what y'all do with the Texas Boys Outdoor TV show, right?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
And I've watched. Go on. I'm sorry.
We had a couple. Just bring up. We had a couple kids from Shriner who took out Fabian was his name a couple months ago. He was like the second one we had like that, where they didn't even fish their entire life. And you get a kid like that out there for the first time, catching, caught a 24-inch speckled trout out there, and it and puts things in perspective a little bit and kind of makes you realize stuff like that is exactly why you're doing what you're doing. So definitely always fun getting those kids. You get it. I think my favorite thing, and I love the veteran stuff, law enforcement, but I think being a father, it hits home some, is when we get the kids that, been gone through a hard time. We've taken out guys that's gone through other stuff, and for that one day especially, they just have a hell of a time. They're having fun. They're laughing. It's just a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And that's the one thing I talked about in the last show that I did with just this last podcast in our series, the saltwater series. We with Crosswater Outfitters, my fishing ministry, we see a huge transformation when we take soldiers and their families out, as far as the togetherness with the family core nucleus, as well as the things with what fishing does as a therapeutic means, for these soldiers and those that have been through hard experiences. How therapeutic the outdoors is to connect with God, to connect with nature, connect with the natural beauty of the world. It's more than just getting out there and catching and killing something. It's about that communion, if you will.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. There's actually been research on that they do think that fishing and some of the outdoor stuff is therapeutic. I mean, there's been we've had veterans come back and reach out to us after we took them out that, they went out and got a lot of times we'll actually give them some fishing gear. Lou's one of our sponsors too. It's just awesome about that with the veterans. Sure. But we've had guys that, had never really had much experience fishing, and we'll take them out and kind of show them a few things. And they're sharp guys that go out on their own, figure out little ponds they can go to and little stuff, and they'll message us, 6 months later saying how much they enjoy fishing. That's another kind of an outlet they have to get out there and relax, and getting some of their veteran buddies to go with them, and it's become a cool deal. So there's definitely something about the outdoors I think is definitely therapeutic and can help people in so many different ways.
Right, and I mean that's the other thing that I do. I didn't do it this summer because I got too busy with Camp Agape, which is the bereavement camp for children. But they have a fishing pond there at Camp Buckner in Burnett County, where these kids who have lost a parent or another loved one in their life go, and it's about 50. I think it was 48 or some odd kids this year that have done that. And last year when I worked that camp, I couldn't do it this year. Like I say, I got some other schedule conflicts, but I came up to a couple of the kids and said, "Let's go fishing. We got a little bit of time to burn. Let's get some bread or some worms or whatever we can find." And that was their first time to fish either in a while or ever, and the look on their face is just, it's amazing because they caught their first. We're just fishing for bluegill here. I'm not talking about any, throwing crankbaits for reds or anything like that.
Bluegill would be a lot of fun.
But it's a challenge to get a small fish on a small hook. That's my whole point when I talk about why I go bluegill fishing so much with my son. It's just to show him the simplicity of fishing, but also the therapeuticness. And therapeuticness is probably not a word, but the therapeutic quality of fishing, but also the skill of getting out there and getting stuff done like that. And it's not all easy all the time because you can't set the hook every time and that kind of stuff. But just the amazing difference it made in those kids' lives. And I know that's going to be a memory that they carry with them for their life, And that is solid quality experience right there.
Yeah, for sure. That's good stuff. That's what it's all about.
That's good. Well, I won't keep you too terribly long. I just wanted to at least, is there anything you'd like to say in closing, Roy, with the show, with your personal stuff, with hunting season, any of that?
Oh man, I always appreciate the phone call, and we're working now. We've always done our first 4 seasons on the Pursuit Network. We've always done 13 weeks, and been on it airs April through into June, usually in the second quarter there. And I think next year we actually average almost 75,000 viewers for the show this season. And so I think next year we're going to 26 weeks. So it'll be a really cool deal. And we'll have to get back and do another call here in the fall, and I'll update you on everything we have going on. But it's going to be really exciting. So I think the show's going to be out there quite a bit more next year. And on the short term, I need 6 big redfish and that $100,000 check, and life will be good.
Life will be really good. Yeah, I was going to tell you, too, what I started to say earlier was I saw one of your deep sea fishing adventures when you guys were out there. I don't know what season it was. I was just watching this on YouTube, you know what I mean?
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah.
So it was just I'm
with Bluefin over there in Freeport. Those are our
Freeport.
Guys.
Yeah. That's awesome. Who it was. Yeah, and you had your captain and the deckhand and stuff there, and they were really. But the fish were pulling so hard, you were basically having to rest the rod on the rail and just reeling. I thought that was pretty cute. So
it is, man. Those. I stick to the bay. Those are the big amberjack. We caught some giant ling and a couple of big dorado. And
I remember that
blackfin tuna. That's the one. You catch a big blackfin tuna on the it's a heavy action rod, but there's still some of those fish. It's just
they pull.
You can see in the video I mean, we had guys, a 240-pound linebacker that was, you can see them struggling
Right.
a little bit. I mean,
Struggling
those
a
big
little bit.
tuna
Yeah.
especially will whoop your butt, man.
Well, and it's just about the grind and about they play the game to win. You know, those big fish in the offshore do. And I mean, like I say, I've not done a lot of offshore, but I'm gonna do some this November. I think I've got invited to do a fishing event off of the coast of Venice, Venice, Louisiana, and
Oh yeah, that's big time over
that's
there.
big time over there. I fished there last August. It'll be a little bit over a year ago with another fishing event that I did, and we caught bull reds all day. And I mean, those will wear you out with
Oh
medium
yeah,
weight
they will
tackle,
too.
you know. So, yeah, let alone the big fish in the offshore. But back to hunting season real quick. I mean, is there anything you want to close on as far as tips, tricks, tactics, anything like that?
Just be smart. Whether you're in a high pressure, just depending on where you are, but always make sure you play the wind right.
Right.
You got the ruts. I think we actually have an early rut here. I'm in Montgomery County and the surrounding counties too. I know close by. We'll start that first cool front in October, man. I've had deer chasing in early to mid October. They'll start chasing really hard by Halloween. So we have kind of an earlier rut, just depending on where you are. So always pay attention to that kind of thing and just be smart, get out there and get it done.
Well, good scent cover too if you're bow hunting. You know, I always say
Oh
even if
yeah,
you're gun
always.
hunting too. There's a new product that I'm using for a scent cover right now, and there's tons. There's dead downwinds. There's vapor trail scents. There's tinks. I mean, they've got a whole lot of different cover scents and basically just keep and body washes, laundry detergent I ordered in this year. I'm
Oh
really
yeah.
taking it seriously, and then I got some bins to put my clothes in and stuff to keep the after you wash them, keep human scent off of them. I'm really
Oh
playing
yeah.
the deer's nose more this year than I ever have, and really being more. I guess the long word would be cognizant of what's possible out there. So
Oh yeah.
that's
Well, man, if
kind
you
of
want to shoot a good buck with a bow, you gotta play the wind right. Use cover
right.
sense. You gotta. It's 90% of the time he's going to be a really really sharp deer, and so you got to do something to out slick him a little bit.
Sure. No,
And
I'm with
definitely the earth scents I know are good. I know Hunter Specialties has those little wafers. I think
Yep.
you can hang that. It's like an earth scent thing that comes off. You hang in a tree next to you when you get in the stand.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of stuff out there that works. So
And
you
you can
want to use
shop.
that stuff if you're hunting an old smart buck.
Yep, and you can shop this stuff, on Academy. You can shop this stuff at Bass Pro, Cabela's, any place like that. You can go to a lot of online retailers that have that, and don't forget your Frio stuff too because they're really good.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I feel 24/7 cup. I always have that around.
I'm
Those are
holding
awesome.
mine right now, and I just keep on forgetting underneath that there's a bottle opener. That's kind of handy, to have. So,
That and we got I got a new boat coming in next month, and I gotta get my new 65 quart Frio all tricked out to match the boat.
mhm.
So, a little kid.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Can't wait to get it.
The cool thing about these leather wraps that I've got on my Frio 24/7 cup is they're made by Double J Saddlery, which is one of the advertisers in our magazine. They make some quality leather, and the nice thing about leather is it breathes a little bit. You don't have to worry about your cup getting rusted if it gets wet or anything like that. It dries out fairly well. Isn't that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about that. So that's really good. And if you want to be like Roy Crush, this professional TV celebrity, I have an online
I'm a
course.
D-list.
No, you're an A-list in my
celebrity.
book, man. But if you want to do some stuff, pro staffs like that, like he's doing, like I'm doing, that kind of stuff. I have an online course. It is very low cost right now, under $100, and it is available through DustinsProjects.com. That's DustinsProjects.com. A course called Finding Success in the Outdoor Industry, about a 5 to 6 hour video series that I put together for anybody that is looking for ways to excel in the outdoor industry, because it is very competitive, is it not, Roy?
Oh yes, sir. Oh yeah.
So anyway, since I'll have some new people listening, I wanted to definitely plug that too. So
Awesome, man.
anyway, but appreciate your time, Roy. Thanks so much for joining us.
You too, man. You have a good afternoon.
And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roy Crush from Texas Boys Outdoors TV show. Really encompasses the Texas spirit well, but I know you guys listen from all over the nation and all over the world. The whole outdoor lifestyle is what I'm really going for, as far as, what we're talking about redfish, or we're talking about largemouth bass, or we're talking about shooting or hunting, or targets or anything like that, clay shooting, target shooting with the rifle, so on and so forth. There's just so many things you can do in the outdoors, and I love having guys like him on, because they reinforce my whole message of the outdoor lifestyle, and more specifically the Texas outdoor lifestyle. But no matter where where you are, you can really take advantage of a lot of great things in the outdoors of where you go hunt. I've got some great things on the horizon that I've got, and of course I mentioned in the podcast recording there, online course, dustinsprojects.com has a link to that, and you can go check that out. It is very low cost to get in there and learn a little bit about how to be successful in the outdoor industry, which is something I've done quite profoundly over the last few years. So really excited to have the chance to share that with you. So if you've not done so already, Practical and Tactical Tuesday, Wildlife Wednesday, and the Thursday Texas State of the Outdoor Nation newsletter. Those are all free to get. You just have to sign up. Our list is over 60,000 big now, 60,000 large for the list for the Texas Outdoor Nation newsletter, and that's just a great opportunity to learn some stuff, to kind of get a foretaste of the feast to come with the magazine issue, and to get some good information about Texas outdoors. I've got a Dove article. I don't know when it's going to release. It may be the week of the next newsletter that you see after you hear this podcast, or I have to do this podcast a week early, so I don't know when you're going to see it. But anyway, just you can go to the Dustin Warncke tab at fishgame.com under the contributors, and you can find my name, and you'll see it tagged under my name as an article that I wrote. I've got a lot of other articles on there too on that blog, so you can go check that out as well. Thank you guys so much again for watching, reading, and listening. Have an awesome day in the outdoors. We'll see you next time.